everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm so happy that you're here today to sit down with me and let's talk about what are we knitting. I believe we are on episode 18, 19, I'm not sure. But this is where I talk about what I'm currently have on my hooks and I want to, or needles, and I want you guys to share with me down in the comments below what you guys are currently working on. I love to hear what you guys are making, and I would like to invite you to send pictures of what you're currently making to my email, knitbymoonbeams@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to show our family here what you guys are currently making, because you know YouTube doesn't really allow us to share pictures easily, so send them to me in an email. I'll make a video and share here and share with our family what you guys are currently working on, because you guys are very creative and come up with some very beautiful projects and they deserve to be shared. So please do that. Again, knitbymoonbeams@gmail.com. Today I'm going to be sharing with you two whips. I have shared one of these before. This project I'm going to share today is a year-long mystery knit-along. I have shared, you get one clue every month. So I have two videos because we're in March. So I have two other videos discussing this project, January's clue and February's clue. If you're interested, I will link these above and you can go watch them in more detail, where I describe what these patterns are based on, because this is the Japanese sampler scarf. The pattern is by Tony L. Lorenz. And let me tell you, this is getting really beautiful, intricate, and stunning. I love this project so much, and I'm so happy that I decided to do this. Before I start showing you the project, this chart, if you are interested in jumping in and knitting this with us, please do. I highly recommend it. It is very well written. However, one thing you need to know about this is this chart is a charted project. There are no written text, so it is a little bit more complicated kind of a chart because there are complicated stitches. So if you want to try this, please do. But it's not the easiest chart I've ever written. Ever knitted. What I talk about is about this charted pattern. This one is a little bit harder too for this Japanese sampler scarf, because on the wrong side rows, when you look at the chart, you don't knit the stitch that you see. You have to do an opposite stitch, and you have to kind of look at the keys. So you have to, when you see something on the right side, you do one thing, and when you see that same stitch on the wrong side, you do something else. So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. But one trick I've found when you do this type of a chart, it tries to show you what the right side is going to look like. So basically, it's kind of like an opposite type of stitch. So one way you can check yourself is like when you knit a wrong side row, pretend like this top one's a wrong side row. You can, when you're finished, you can put it on the right side and look at the chart and check along to see if those match up. If you're doing the opposite of what that stitch says, when you flip it over on the right side of your scarf should look like what you have on your chart. I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of another tip I do use when I am knitting this scarf and knitting patterns that are charted and have that wrong side row that doesn't necessarily, you don't do what you see in that box. You have to do an opposite type of a stitch. So I've been taking this and looking at it and making sure it lines up to check myself before I move on, and that way if I've made a mistake I can fix it right there, and there's no ripping back 40 rows, or well, there's not 40 rows per clue, but you know. But it is still a chart and easy to follow, and if you take it stitch by stitch and follow the key, when you get to you know, something you've never seen before, look it up on the key, read it, and just take your time. The rows are not very long, so this is something that you could easily work your way through, and then you end up with a stunning project. Let me show you where I'm at. This is all the way through March. This is what the project's looking like now. I'll get up close so you guys can see. This was began January. And where that marker is bobbling, that first one, this one is where January ended. Then we went on to February, and where that the second marker is bobbling, the red one, it is where February's clue ended. And this is, now we're to March. So where that second marker is on the right to the end is where March clue is. And this was a little bit longer clue. As you can see, there are two other stitch markers beside it. This one, there was a chart, there were two charts. This was where that first marker is. This one is where the first chart ended. And this is where the second chart ended. So there were 60 rows to this clue. I am loving this clue. Let me turn it this way, and you can see all these beautiful leaves are starting to come into play, and they are just my favorite. I also love how this cable came up and started wrapping around the design. But these leaves are what are making me happy. They're just so beautiful. And then of course you're carrying the same design along the sides here, which we've talked about before. Let's talk a little bit about it. This design that she has going along the side is based on a stitch pattern called BK260. Oh, and it's number 195 in the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, which I have here. And let me show you a picture of this. Let me insert a picture because that'd probably be easier. It's stitch pattern 195. It's this pattern that's going along the edge here that it's designed on. Again, her pattern is written herself. She just takes that design in the Stitch Bible and I want my camera to focus not on that and not on me. There we go. She takes the design and makes something her own based on what she sees in the Stitch Bible. Now, the other part where this, down here, the center part from that pink red marker to the white marker, that is based on pattern number 51 in the Stitch Bible. I'll hold this still, then I'll show you pattern 51 in the Stitch Bible, and then I'll come back and you'll see this again. You can kind of see how it's based on that design. Again, I just love these cables. It's just so stunning and beautiful and how they wrap around. Now from here up, this part in the center, these leaves, are based on the stitch pattern 51 as well. And they just, I love them. I think it's my favorite part so far. Of course, I've always loved leaves. I also love how the cables here are coming up and wrapping around and starting. This is the transition part into April's design. And it's just so pretty. I love this gold color. This yarn is Manas del Uruguay Fino yarn. 70% wool, 30% silk. It's very soft, but it has a lot of stretch, and it grabs. Your needles can grab onto it. It has great stitch definition, which is why I picked it, because I knew that the stitches were going to be pretty complicated, and I wanted all these cables and all of this to just pop. And it is not disappointing me. It really is showing these stitches wonderfully, and I am just so pleased with how this project is turning out. So if you want to knit this with us, you still have time. We're going to be knitting this throughout all the rest of the year. You know, a new clue every month. So again, Japanese sampler scarf, Tony L. Lorenz. All the information on this is in the description box below. Okay, that's one whip I'm currently working on. Another whip you've never seen before, but I've needed to get started on this because I have a deadline that's imposed by life. We have a family friend who is expecting a baby, and I'm knitting a baby blanket. This is how it's looking so far. It's kind of big. I wanted to make the 35 by 35 size, and I added a couple of extra repeats to it just to make sure, because I am knitting this with 100% or no, it's a cotton linen yarn. This is 70% cotton, 30% linen. This is Knit Picks cotton linen yarn in flamingo colorway. It's a DK weight yarn, and but anyway, this is what this pattern I'm using is Lacy Lucy. I have knitted this before. I knitted it in a silver that had this rainbow sparkle in it, and it turned out so pretty. But that was an acrylic yarn. You want to knit baby blankets in something that's easy for the mother to wash, because you know things happen with babies. So it just has to be something that they can easily wash, and it won't you know, require hand washing, air drying, you know, something they can throw in the dryer too is preferably preferred, I'm sure. But this is Lacy Lucy. The pattern, the designer is Myla Vayner. This is a great pattern. I love her work. I love these little, how these cables go up the edge here. This is going to have a border along the edge. And I love this cute little design here. This design is created by knitting 4 stitches together through the front loop, and then knitting 4 stitches together through the back loop to go around a simple fan stitch design in the center. And you just repeat this design, this cable and that little fan stitch surrounded by the knitting 4 stitches together over and over again. Very easy pattern, but it makes a beautiful design, I think. Let me get up a little bit closer, you guys, so you guys can focus on it and see it. But hopefully I can get this done in like the next month, because baby is coming, and you know, that I can't stop. Time, it just happens. So thank you for letting me share that with you. Highly recommend Myla Vayner's patterns. Her patterns are all well written as well, and I've knitted several of them before, and they just always turn out amazingly. The other thing I want to mention to you guys is an upcoming project, because I want to give you guys a heads up and time enough to participate. I would love for you guys to jump in and knit this along with me if you're interested. This is something that I have done since 2016. So this will be my 5th year to do this. I'm going to show you briefly. This is the Romi Hill annual mystery knit along. She does it every year in the March-April time frame. And this year, her annual spring mystery knit along is going to start on April the 9th. And the way she does it is she sends you 1 clue a week. I believe there's going to be 5 clues for this pattern. So it's going to start April the 9th. You need 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn that are at least 400 yards. I still haven't picked out my yarn yet, so I can't really show you that. I'm on the fence about 3 different choices. But I do want to show you all the shawls I've knitted throughout the year for this mystery knit along, to give you an idea of how beautiful and lacy and amazing they are. I always knit this one because I know I'm gonna love the design. You know, sometimes you don't want to do a mystery knit along because you're not sure if you're really gonna like the pattern. I never ever have a question in my mind if I'm going to like it or not. I just know I am, because I love all of her work. But in 2016, we knitted Morning Trail. That was my first ever Romi Hill pattern. Very intimidating, but I did it. and I loved the border that came on this. All of these shawls also have their own video that you can go watch and look at all the intricate details. I'm not going to go into all the details about these. I just want you to see what she usually does for mystery knit-alongs, and kind of that way you can kind of decide if you want to participate in this or not. 2017, Beautiful Together. Interesting kind of asymmetrical circular design. She always uses two colors too. If you watch that 2018 Spring 4th, I loved this shawl so much. This shawl is my favorite of hers. I love it so much I made two. And if I can find both pictures, I will insert them. One of them I gave to a friend, and I was kind of heartbroken about it, and I was like, I'm going to make another one, so I made another one for myself. I usually don't knit two of the same design. It's just pretty rare unless I really, really love it. 2019, I also participated in the Rose City Yarn Crawl, which was a mystery knit-along before her annual mystery knit-along, and that's this one. Then right a month later, she had her annual mystery knit-along, which was Cathedral Grove, and that is actually right over here behind me, the purple and lace, and I'll insert a picture. This one is not going to be here much longer. This one is probably already it was the prize for that I donated to the fundraiser for Sharon's Crochet, sponsored by Mama Swift and Carrie the Yarny Elephant and Adele Romero, who is actually one of our family members here in the Knitting Turnpike family, which I was excited that she was a member of our family and won the shawl that I donated. But she won this, so this is going to Adele. But she's being modeled by Claire today for this video, and that was a Romi Hill shawl. And in 2020, I knitted two at the same time. I will never do that again. That was really a lot of knitting all at once. But I knitted two of hers, which is called April Song. I knitted a teal and copper shawl, which went to live with my beautiful friend Diana from Dye Grow Crochet. And then the other shawl was donated to another fundraiser for Sharon's Crochet Corner that Dye Grow Crochet hosted. And our YouTube family member here, Maribel is Hooked, won that one. And love Maribel, and I hope that she's enjoying that shawl. And so now we are here to 2021, and I'm not sure what she has in mind for us. I kind of have seen like she does circulars, then triangles, circulars and triangles. So if it falls true to that, last year was triangular, so this year might be kind of a half circle. I'm not sure. I'm guessing. I don't know anything. I do not have any inside information, so I do not promise you that it is that. I'm just kind of guessing, and let's just see if I'm right. Who knows? Again, I have not picked out my colors. I was fortunate enough. She sells kits for these on a Verb for Keeping Warm, and I did buy a kit, but I'm not sure I'm going to use it yet. But if you guys want to talk about the colors you might use or want to use, comment below. I'd be glad to help you pick colors out of your stash or try to find some yarn if you want to buy it to knit this. But I would love for you to knit this along with me, and we can share our pictures here and share our progress, share our happy times, which there's all going to be happy times. There's not going to be any bad times. I'm just going to say that right now. So anyway, thank you for letting me share that with you. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you again for watching, for being here. If you are new and haven't subscribed to my channel but enjoy talking about knitting and crochet, and I do have tutorials every once in a while, please hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you as a family member here with us, and learn more about you, what you like to make, what you like to knit and crochet. And again, I'm still trying to get my schedule worked out, so turn on those notifications, and I am going to get my schedule worked out one day, I promise. I know it's been 8 months and I should have it worked out by now, but I haven't, but I hope to soon. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and we'll see you next time.